This week in art, we are going to continue connecting art with science. Now, I know that you have just been learning about the phases of the moon, and you might think, why do we need to know the phases of the moon? If you ask the artist Jatish Kalat about that, he would probably tell you it's all about looking at the world around you and seeing what connections you can make. I'd like you to have a look at some of the artworks created by this artist from India, and then we are going to take the basics of how to draw a diagram of the phases of the moon and see how creative you can get with it as a way of exploring ways of drawing and using everyday sights as a source of inspiration. Go to the Talim Library site and log in to Britannica Online, where you can look up the moon and see a diagram of the phases. Use this image to guide you. Look at the way it's organized and the connections that you can see with it. There are 2 circles at the top, 2 circles at the bottom, and then 2 circles on either side. Use your finger as a spacer between the circles that you draw, using the bottom of the cup, the smaller side, so that you can get them fairly evenly spaced into that round pattern. To help keep track which circle represents which phase of the moon, use a heavy pressure and outline the new moon. This will help you remember later on that this is the one that will be the darkest. Then sketch in the different crescents to show the phases of the moon. Take your pencil again and outline the dark side of the moon in each circle. What I want you to go on to do is fill in the dark side with a heavy pressure pattern and the light side of the moon with a very light pressure pattern. And see if you can experiment with different types of lines and designs in each shape. Starting with the new moon, fill it in with a crisscrossing pattern. This is also known as cross-hatching. As you go, turn the page underneath your pencil. When you finish the new moon with the heavy pressure, do the same pattern with a light pressure for the full moon. Really focus on controlling your tools here. Then make sure that your pencil is nice and sharp and move on to the waning crescent moon. Hold your pencil on its side and use the edge of the lead instead of the point to get an even, really soft, filled space for the dark side of the moon. And then lighten the pressure as you do the side that the sun is shining on. Then switch over to the waxing gibbous moon and do the opposite. Fill in the crescent shape with a heavy pressure, even fill, and a lighter pressure on the other side. Use your pencil in a circular, make circular motions with the side of your pencil lead. For the first quarter moon, try using the end of your pencil and go in a circular motion. Heavy pressure on the dark side of the moon, and then light pressure with the same pattern on the sunny side of the moon. Then switch over to the last quarter moon and do the exact opposite. When you get to the last pair, the waxing crescent moon and then the waning gibbous moon, you choose the line design that you want to fill the 2 sides of the moon with. I used a zigzag pattern here and I rotated my page as I went. So the heavy pressure on one side and light pressure on the other. I wonder how you will fill this final moon. I filled the remaining white space with some designs and patterns connected to the phases of the moon diagram, and also just using line designs that I enjoy and find relaxing to draw. I wonder what you will come up with inspired by the phases of the moon.